Welcome to Here Where You Belong, your go-to podcast for exploring belonging with your host and belonging expert, Dia Irby. We are thrilled to have you join us. Together, we'll dive into the depths of what it means for each of us to find our own place in the world, whether it's within our communities, our relationships, or within ourselves. Today's episode is meant to inspire, uplift, and remind you that no matter where you are or where you're headed, you have a place where you truly belong. So grab a cozy spot and settle in. Welcome to Here Where You Belong.
Welcome to Here Where You Belong. Oh, my word. If there is someone who has community or belonging, like top of the list, doing it for so many people, it's my guest today. I was so thrilled when Nancy was available. Nancy Nelson is the person that answered the call that started NC Free Moms. She is the founder because she listened to God and answered the call. And she's got a phenomenal story that I'm going to let her tell. But first, Nancy, want to say hello and anything else about yourself?
Absolutely. Hello. I'm not sure what you want to tell me to tell you about myself. I am been married 44 years. I have 4 children and 8 grandchildren. And oh gosh.
You live in Raleigh.
I live in Raleigh.
And we're just going to jump into it.
That sounds great.
That sounds great. You have experienced belonging for yourself your whole life. You've had a good, stable life. You've built it with your family, with your 4 children, raising your children, with your husband. And then something happened. So I'm going to turn this over to you, and we're even going to show a few slides because the picture's worth 1,000 words. Tell us your story, Nancy.
I'll do it. So as I prepared for today, I realized that I actually needed to start with my meta narrative, because everyone has a meta narrative. That's like, what is the world about? The cosmos, on and on, right? And then, so my piece of belongingness fits inside my meta narrative. And my meta narrative is actually that before God even created the foundation of the world, the cosmos, he already saw himself as our Father. And it was his plan, knowing that there was going to be a disconnect, to put it mildly, that it was his plan to send his son to be able to restore the reason that he created us in the first place, which is belonging, which is family. He created us for family. When I was 3 years old, I actually, together with my mom, she didn't force me. I knew about it, went to her and said, I want to know Jesus in my heart, inside. And so I prayed, and it was real. And so my family was, like I said, they were genuine, they were authentic. It was a genuine, loving family. I had 4 brothers. None of us rebelled when we got old. You know why? Because there was nothing to rebel against. It really was not. It was just a sweet, loving home. They had boundary, we had whatever, we just had wisdom. My parents would just convey wisdom as we went along, and my brothers and I all felt that sense of belonging, very, very strongly. But we all also knew Jesus, God's son, and who was the completion of our identity, our real identity. And so then when I was 13, I went to a conference and learned that Jesus Christ wants to be the Lord of our lives, not just the Lord of the universe. He really wants to be active and participating in everything. And at that point, I said, oh yeah, definitely. And it's one of the reasons I believe that God led me to the right man to marry. And I'm not claiming perfection in any way, shape, or form, but I'm saying that to be 67 and not have any big regrets, many little regrets, is I credit that all to the love of God in my life. So fast forward to my story between 2015 and 2018. Like probably most of the people that are listening to this today, I would get on social media and just be heartbroken at the devastation in our world going on, and the division and the hatred and the darkness and the disunity, just all of the evil that is going on in our world. And I was thinking about the young people, the college age students who are so they're just following their crowd. They don't know their identity. They don't know that they are loved. primarily, because that's what we're primarily created for, is God's love and belonging. And so I thought, how are we going to tell these kids over? And so I prayed to God for 3 years, between 2015 and 2018. And I said,
3 years
for 3 years. And I would just,
before the pandemic.
before the pandemic, I was praying. I was like, what are we going to do about these young people? I wouldn't have a clue as what to do, but I'm just telling you, please don't put me in somebody's program. And I would say, I want you to use me, put me somewhere where your presence through me will push back the darkness, and your presence will be felt, and that will shift the hearts, will shift the atmosphere. And so I prayed that for 3 years, also asking that he would not only reveal it, but he would give me a sign. Okay. I said, if you will just reveal it and confirm it, if you will give me a sign, God, you know me, I will do it. I don't care what it is, I will do it. And so in 2019, I was in my kitchen cleaning up, listening to a pastor that I don't usually listen to, but he said the line that became the catalyst for this movement, and it is a movement today. Mm-hmm. He said, God is in the process of revealing the deep darkness in the world so that he can then reveal himself again as the wonderful father that he is. And he's going to use the baby boomers because they love God, they love our country, and they love the young people. And I thought, oh, that's me. So a minute later, he said, all right, baby boomers, time to get outside your comfort zone. And as soon as he said that, I felt like a hand right on my left shoulder. And that's when the vision came, literally. I mean, you can call it an angel, you can call it Holy Spirit. It came because right then, at that moment, I saw a vision of myself, and it was just in my mind's eye, but I saw this image of myself on campus at State, in the middle, just with kids walking by, being like a free mom, giving hugs or hellos and friendship and words of wisdom, and just being there. And so the next day, it was stirring in my heart as I passed a new neighborhood going up near my home, and reached out the phone to call for a good friend, and said, Sam, what do you think about this? Last night, I think God gave me a vision for being like a mom on campus. Just go over there. And the very second that those words came out of my mouth, you will see behind Dia that I passed a sign that said Mother Nancy Drive.
I love that story. I just couldn't wait till you got to that part. Yes, give me a sign.
Yeah.
Okay.
I asked for a sign. He gave me a sign. I've actually had 5 other signs in my life at moments that I really needed him to, but this is the one that brought a movement with it. And so when I saw that, of course, I was kind of sucking air. I was like, Sam. Then we just passed a sign that said Mother Nancy Drive. So obviously that was a confirmation. And that was in the spring or February of 2019. And that fall, when school started, I was ready to go. And I decided I was just going to go over there by myself. I really didn't want to be by myself. I didn't know how much I would do it, but I was prepared to go for a while. And that's the way I thought of it. So the first day in September, right there's a picture of me with my 1 pound cake. That was the very first day of fall 2019. And so I
do you can't really see it. Is that a sign that says free mom?
Yeah, my husband laminated a sign that said free Mom Nancy. And then he made some business cards for me that said free Mom Nancy, cheering you on. Because that's what the bottom line is, cheering them on, upward and onward. And so so kids would walk by and I would just say, hey, you want some free cake? And they would go, what? And I would say, you want some free cake? And they'd go, they would come over and what is this? And I would say, well, I come every week and I give free friendship and free cake and free hugs. That's all it was right then. And the girls would go, I want a hug. So I was giving from the very first day, giving hugs to people. International students especially could not get it at all. They would go, I've never seen this in my whole life. Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Why would you do this? Can I pay you? I was like, no. And so why would you do this? And I would just tell them that, I said, well, here's my bottom line. And I'm sticking to it. I said, my life has been so changed by God's beautiful love that I just can't help myself. They would cock their head and look at me and look, I receive that. And that's all we needed to say. That's all we needed to say. So I said, I told them I'm coming every week to bring unconditional love. And sometimes if I had time, I would say, do you know what unconditional love is? And, it was always chit chat and around the subject of what is unconditional love without strings and all of that. And it's like, here's one place you can come on campus. You don't have to change. You can just come as you are and just be loved and accepted and you belong. I just want you. So, so that was before COVID. And I had.
Were you doing this by yourself? From
The first day I was by myself. Honestly, I can't remember if I was by myself just one day or two. But thankfully, I had three friends, good friends, who went with me that first year. As each would come for a couple of months at a time, and then we got shut down by COVID in March of that year, and we were then no one was on campus. And then the next year, no one was on campus. And then the next year, we went back, and I went back, and another friend said, "I'm going to go full time with you." So Allison Hoyle went with me full time at that point, and it was just as beautiful. Every single day we would leave floating on a cloud. It fed our souls, and that's something that volunteers tell me even now. And we had no idea what God had in mind, but by the end of spring 22, we were probably loving on maybe 400 kids that would come by. And by that time we had a couple others, and they would bring brownies and cookies, and at every point along this path there's been enough food. It's like the loaves and the fishes. Seriously.
Not just food, other attractions.
Yes. So the next fall, 22-23 school year is when it absolutely exploded. And I knew exactly what God was doing, because even though we were totally willing and satisfied to go by ourselves, it felt like, oh, this could be so, this is meant for so much more. This is significant to God. I just knew it, that it was bringing love and acceptance and significance to kids, and they were eating it up, literally. And but in the, like I said, the school year of 22-23, not this school year, but last year, by Christmas we had 500 students coming, and I knew that God was building a template, a model for other campuses. And I'm going to jump quickly to the end. Right now, today we have 2,500 students coming on two different parts of campus. In the morning, we have maybe 30 or so volunteers serving 900 kids over at the engineering campus. And we have 1,500 kids, or almost that. It's hard to know really, because they come, they go, they come, but we think we have around 1,500 now who come, and we give it's free moms, free dads. We have dads too. We have free food, free dietary food. We have free flowers. We have wholesalers and Trader Joe's that give plants and flowers, and kids will walk away with bouquets. It is incredible. We have dogs. We have maybe 5, 8, 9 dogs. They're spread out against a wall in one area, and many kids come and they just get attached to the mama of the dog, and they get attached to the dog, and they sit there for hours. And then we have my husband Dan plays music, and like jazz or something in the middle, and it's what's kind of like but it's in the spirit of love and the presence of God. And so it's just, kids hear it and they come, and kids hear it and they come, and they come. And then we also even have a campus police horse that comes, and Jeannie, the writer, always loves my whipping cream pound cake that I still bring 2 of them every week. And
so wait, let's stop just a second.
Yep.
You have a total of lots of almost 3,000, 2,000, whatever.
2,500 students that come.
Okay. And you bring 2 pound cakes. So there is a community that has been built.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. As I may have mentioned that this means as much to the volunteer moms and dads as it does to the students. And it's addictive. I'm telling you, if you know anyone who is anxious or depressed, fearful, whatever, if you would like to help them heal, give them a way to serve.
Oh,
and when kids come and they get love in the context of what we're doing. Oh, I forgot. We also sing happy birthday songs and give little birthday gifts. We have a birthday tent. And when it's their birthday month, it doesn't have to be the day. They go over, they get sung to. Sometimes they just cry with gratitude. We give hugs, many, many, hundreds and hundreds of hugs. Sometimes we're at the line and greeting, and we'll ask them if they want a hug, or, they'll say they want a hug, or sometimes they'll say fist bump or hug, and they'll choose one. It doesn't really matter, because it's just a joy bubble. It's just really a joy bubble. And we really do have 2,500 servings of food every week now. It's just, we don't know how. We use a Sign Up Genius for this, for the moms and dads to register their attendance and the number of servings they're bringing. So we get an estimation of how short are we. Do we need to run out and buy some donuts or something? And we probably get 2/3 of what we need on any given Thursday that has been recorded. But some bring extras. I don't know. I think sometimes that we have, somebody might look at there and say, 12 cupcakes, and, God's looking down going, no, I see 200, because we don't run out. I mean, every once in a while we run out, but God just provides. It's the loaves and the fishes.
Wow.
And we run out right at the end on Thursdays on main campus on Wolf Plaza. Yeah, there you go. When we get started at 1 o'clock on main campus, Wolf Plaza, we have about 200 kids waiting in the food line, 200 kids waiting in the flower line. And then when they finish, get to go through their lines, and they come and they exchange lines. And then
Where am I going to start this week? Yes.
yeah, so we meet for 3 hours. And it means so much to the parents. It means so much to the students. I have a book with about 700 thank you comments from the students. One student comes from Chapel Hill every week. One volunteer comes from Winston-Salem every week. And she is just a joy bubble herself. And
So here is
some of
one
this,
setup.
yeah, there you go. The back table is the front one is a 20-foot tent, and that's the food. And the one behind that there is actually the birthday one, where kids will go over and be 3 or 4 or 5 moms and dads will be there, and we have another birthday, and then we sing to them, and they love it. And sometimes, like I said, they cry because they really need some loving on, just loving on.
Well, especially if they're off at college and their families in another state or even another country, to feel like you can belong somewhere, that
that's
there
right.
are other human beings that see you alive and here and say you belong.
That's right. That's right. See, when I got started, I knew that in the kids' minds, because it's not hard to imagine this, in their minds, the people there on campus, they care about them, but they're also paid to be there. And the thing that the kids tell us, they love so much what we're doing because we don't have an agenda.
Mm,
That's
just
huge.
unconditional love.
That's what we tell them. I say, this is all about unconditional love for every single student. And some will come by and just say, my favorite thing about Free Moms is that there's no kind of student that doesn't love coming here. And then sometimes they're upset, they have things going on in their lives and pressures in school and, breakups and whatever, and they're crying and they fall in our arms, and we just love on them and encourage them. And some just come for the hugs and leave. It's crazy though. There's one kid named Davis. He's just a doll. And every week he gets there 5 minutes before our lines open. He said, I came for my hug. And I said, don't you want something to eat? Look at all this good food here. I'll get you one. No, that's okay. I just want
want
my
a hug.
Yeah.
Wow.
And some of the kids now, we understand that in one of the dorms, there is what do they call it? A countdown clock for us running throughout the entire week. So at 1 o'clock, it rings to let everybody know it's time to go to Free Moms. And then at 4 o'clock, somebody coming back resets it for the next week. And when they tell us that when they get upset or their friends are upset, they will encourage them by saying, it's okay, Free Moms will be here in just 2 more days.
Wow. Wow. So much. And I have some more questions, but hold that thought. We're going to be right back.
Okay.
All right. Hey there. Isn't my guest amazing? So glad you joined us today. In this world that often feels disconnected, building community and fostering belonging are essential. That's why I created this podcast, to bring inspiring people to you, to encourage you to create that sense of belonging and community, no matter where you are. If you're being blessed by my guest, and we have some more, like, subscribe, and share this podcast. You know who needs to hear this. Stay connected, stay true to yourself, and always remember, you belong. Now, back to our amazing guest. And we're back. Wow, this is life-changing on so many levels. The effect of building a community. And who would have thought? I mean, I'm sure that when you heard the message and you saw the sign that you thought, oh, I'll be able to serve 2,500 students. No. What you did was you obeyed and stepped out in faith. Now, is this also on other campuses, or can it be on other campuses?
Well, right now we're on 4 other campuses.
4
other campuses. A good friend of ours and his wife started one in App State, and they're loving on about 400 kids these days, or probably more now. And then UNCG started one, and College of Charleston started one. That was my niece, who's been watching ours for 4 years. And then let's see, then we have JMU has one. And I have caught wind that now there's someone in Asheville that wants to start one. I'm going to be talking with her soon about that.
So you don't just do this, you have a whole system, and it's like a template that if someone
Yes,
really
ma'am.
wants to build community, because
Yes.
I mean, it's just a matter of investing the time, but what you get back from that investment
Yeah.
sounds like it's way more. I had the opportunity to visit one Thursday. My grandson is a student there, and it was so fun. He came by and he managed to work it in between his classes. But it's come, taste, and see is the offer that you have for people. If
Mhm.
anyone in any of these locations wants to see what it's all about, you are welcome. You do need to register, right?
Absolutely. So we have a website and it's just called ncsufreemoms.org. When you get there, you can see pictures all throughout our time, 4.5 years. You can read the story, the history, you can sign up to come. And it's what's really important is you're not really considered by us in our system until you have actually come the first time and you sit through my orientation where I get to share my story, my God story. And I like to say our DNA is very special and it's chock full of miracles. So much so when you get to the end, you will understand what I mean when I say this is not my thing, this is his thing. And that's why, Dia, I am confident, I know 100% that there's been no striving of mine from me over the last 4.5 years. There have been so many supernatural miracles, the food, the skill set of the board members. We now know a nonprofit. The Facebook now page, NCSU Free Moms, has probably 4,500 or so people on there. And the new moms will come and they will, take pictures and then they'll post it on we don't even have to run our own Facebook anymore. The brand new moms who just visited often will just take off. We have an Instagram. But before coming, what we do ask that you go to our website, which will allow you to register yourself to come to it any day that you want. You can schedule it yourself and you can reschedule it yourself if you need to. And then when you come at 2 o'clock on main campus with me, you'll onboard, or that's what we call go through orientation. And then I have a team of volunteers who takes over after I tell the mission and the history and then the mission. And I tell people that the mission is just simply unconditional love. It is not, you don't have to be like me. Don't want you to be you, all hearts on deck. But if you have a kind, loving heart and you want to come and love on these students, you're in, no questions asked. And so this is not
That's
about
an
our
easy mission
individual.
to remember. You don't have this great big long 3-paragraph thing to remember.
That's right. So it's not about our individual politics or theologies or whatever, even though I think most of us, if you ask, in fact, if students sometimes come by and go, are you guys Christians? And we'll say, well, I don't know because I haven't asked everybody.
Good
Well,
answer.
I don't even ask people, and I say, but if you go up and down this line, I can guarantee you that at least 95% will say, people say, I wouldn't even be here if God's love had not changed my life.
So because freely you've received, freely give comes to mind. What an amazing, it's a total picture of what community can accomplish.
Yes.
And many hands make light work,
That's right.
all you do is show up with your 2-pound cakes.
Yeah. Now nowadays it's a production. It used to be with my just my 2-pound cakes, but now you see those tents. So we get there at 12 o'clock and we open the lines at 1 o'clock. So we set up the tents and the tables and the tablecloths between 12 and 12:30. And then between 12:30 and 1, we get their name tags on and check in at the volunteer center. And we have a couple of ladies running that are just off the charts, spitfires and wonderful. And so it just gets better all the time. And one of my favorite things I would say is being able to share this story with the guests who come and students. Almost every week I get to tell individuals or groups the story, show them the picture, but then also is in the welcome line when they at 1 o'clock and there's 200 kids there. Oh, my heart is so blown away every single week. And I just go up and down, say, welcome back, sweetheart. Make yourself at home.
Oh,
Welcome back, sweetie. We love you. And I've said we love you or I love you, however it comes out, so long now, they say it back. And that brings me to tears because as well as a lot of kids don't get that in their own families.
yeah.
They're not comfortable saying I love you. Sometimes they come by and they try to thank us and they start crying. They can't even find the words. So this is touching, such a deep, deep place inside of them. And the counseling center is, a couple blocks away and they're always busy doing what they do, but they also send kids to us,
What you need is a hug. Go to
That's
Free
right.
Moms and just get a hug.
That's right. Well, it's really the ultimate human experience in fact, my daughter was telling me recently, she was took a course called Thrive or something like that. And she said, you know what the definition of joy is, which is why we call it a joy bubble, is coming into the presence of someone who knows you and they are so excited to see you. I mean, genuinely, they love you, feel the love, you feel the thrill, and those emotions are just soar for that moment. When you, in a moment like that, hi, joy. That's joy. And that's what we bring to the students because we truly love them and we're there for them. We don't make anybody talk to us, but if they want to talk, we're there. We
Right.
kind of lay low, okay, just make it simple and easy and say, hey, if anybody wants to talk, we got a lot of ears around here. Mama's ready to listen and be a friend, be a supporter, encourage you on. We're here to encourage you on, especially in times of exams and all that.
Right. Well, and just imagine the impact, the difference when they leave campus. They're different people than they would be and they will leave campus eventually and graduate
Yeah.
and not have some other tragedy happen.
Right.
You are impact. And when they go out, now they have experienced what community is. So when they create their own families and communities,
Yes.
the ripple effect of
A ripple. Yes.
is
Yeah.
far reaching. And what's so exciting is God knew about this before he even made the earth. He
That's
gave
right.
us all the
Yeah.
works that we're going to do and created us to
That's
walk
right.
in them. And that's what you did. And I asked people their favorite quote, and you've chosen 1 Corinthians 6:17. The one who is united and joined with the Lord is one spirit with him. And
Mhm.
when you are close with someone, then you can not just hear their words, but almost their thoughts.
That's right.
You and your husband have been married forever, and you probably can finish each other's sentences because you know what the other person is thinking. When we're united with God, we can know what's on his heart.
That's right. That's right. Well, and he, if we're one with him, then we can see people as he sees them and respond accordingly. And so his heart for them, when we pray that and he gives that, we love those kids and they know it's authentic. These kids these days are looking for authenticity, the real deal. They're not looking for just, the word service, and they're not,
Not
and they,
looking for somebody that's going to check the box. Oh, I was a volunteer. Check. They
right.
want real.
Yeah. They look forward to us coming. We have a group me with 1,500 kids on there. And we'll say, can't wait to see you. And the mom's on there. We'll post pictures each week of the food we're bringing or the dogs we're bringing. And they get so excited. It's just a way to tease them and remind them, like, not that they forget, because we're actually a big thing on campus now. And when we hear stories, so many, like when kids go home, the parents sometimes say the kids can't stop talking about free moms.
Oh, and what a joy for the parents to feel like they have an extension of themselves there, to be there in person to tell them happy
Exactly.
birthday
Yeah,
or to hug them through the
that's right.
exams.
That's right. And so the parents are rightly, some of the moms have students there and get to see their kids, and that's a perk. But some moms are out-of-state parents and dads are out-of-state parents, and they look just on our Facebook page every day to see, is my child, can I find my child? Is my child there? And recently I had this young girl come up. It was so precious. She said, this morning I was so upset. And I was talking to my mama, and my mama said, honey, I want you to get off the phone and you go straight to Free Moms, and then you call me back afterwards.
I love it. I love it. So, I also asked my guests, what's your greatest accomplishment? And humbly, you said you guessed it was this, but God did the whole thing. So you are excited about the privilege of partnering or being available to God for him to do this miracle. And multiplying the food and bringing the students. It
That's
is
right.
an amazing story.
Well,
And
we're so blessed to be able to, the Bible tells us we can co-labor with him. That's what we're doing. We're co-creating with him and co-laboring with him. That's just
right.
what we're doing to do what? Bring in the kingdom and bring heaven to earth. And sometimes I go down the lines, I say, you know what I think we're really doing, kids? I really think we're creating the culture of heaven where you're loved perfectly. You don't have to change to get there, because I really believe people ask us sometimes, do you tell people about Jesus? And we say, yes, but not at first at all. Not at first, we just be Jesus. We're just there to be Jesus. Because I really believe if you lead people, to if his light and love and everything is in you, their hearts are softening and every time they come by, and they're going to get hungrier and hungrier for themselves for what it is that we whatever have, and they're going to be led to God. And he's going to find them. And it's okay if he doesn't use us. It's okay if he does. Sometimes kids come for prayer. They'll say, I have a big test. Can somebody please pray for me? And we go, well, of course.
Well,
So
I just want to know, do they have something like this for adults? No, it's really
no,
great because this is
no.
such a pivotal changing time in a person's life when they're going into adulthood. They're still children to a certain degree, and they're
That's right.
going into an adulthood that how can they know real belonging? It's just wonderful. Before we close, and this has been fabulous. I hope everybody gets to hear your story. Do you have any parting words? I think we pretty much covered everything, but
I would just say if anybody, yeah, this can be modeled many places in many ways. I would be very happy if you contact ncsufreemoms@gmail. Then I'd be glad to talk to anybody about, what you feel like you might be being called to do. We actually had one, a principal of a middle school in the area came this year, and then she came back the next week and she told me, because I have got to tell you something, this changed my life last week. And she said, I am making changes at my middle school to help the kids be more personable. I'm taking away some of the, well, she didn't, I don't remember what word she used, but I'm making changes.
Administrative.
Yeah, maybe bringing some parents in, building relationships even in the middle school, for kids to feel accepted and loved and wanted. And yeah.
Boy, middle school is another hotbed of need.
It sure
feeling like
is.
you're belonging.
Yep.
There's so much bullying and meanness and well, it has been again a pleasure. And it is so exciting to see the impact of community and just keep listening and obeying. Who knows what else is coming? Come taste and see.
Yes.
Go to ncsufreemoms.org
There
and
you
get
go.
lots more.
That's
Thanks
right.
for joining us today.
It's been delightful. Thank you so much.
All
Thank
right,
you, Dia.
bye.
Great to see you. Bye now.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Be with Here Where You Belong. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to Here Where You Belong. We hope today's episode has inspired you to embrace the beauty of belonging in your own life. Remember, no matter where you are or where you're headed, you have a place where you truly belong. Join us again next time for more insightful conversations and heartwarming stories. Until then, stay connected, stay true to yourself, and always remember that you belong.